If you're new to Bitcoin, you probably wonder, why does the price of Bitcoin go up and down little bits constantly all the time? In fact, if you just watch the price, every few seconds, the price of Bitcoin is changing. So what is causing that? What is making the price go up and down? Well, this often confuses people that are new to Bitcoin, but actually what they don't realize is the same is true for everything that trades on any market. So any stock, any bond, any commodity, gold, wheat, silver, barley, you name it, everything when a market is open is constantly in a state of flux that is driven by supply and demand. You just don't see it because at the grocery store, the price of eggs only changes every few days or every few weeks. Whereas the people who are actually buying and selling eggs on a daily basis in large volumes, they understand that the price of a dozen eggs or 1,000 eggs or whatever is constantly in flux. A few cents up, a few pennies down, a few dollars up, a few dollars down, up, down, all day long, just like the price of Bitcoin. So what causes that behavior in any market? Well, one way to think about it is that a market is like an elevator with a finite number of people that can get on, be on the elevator at the same time. And the elevator only has, if you're on the elevator, you only have one button you can push, which is the I want to get off button, which is what's selling. If you own something and you want to sell it in a market, you basically only have one button, which is the I want to get off button, off of the elevator. And if you push that button from inside, the elevator is supposed to go down to the nearest floor and let you off. But if you're outside the elevator, you exactly have one button you can push, which is I want to get on the elevator. And if you push the I want to get on the elevator button, the elevator has to come up to get you from wherever it is. If you push the I want to get on button, it's got to go to the next highest floor. So because again, anytime you sell something into a market, it pushes the price down. Even if it pushes the price down normally, such a microscopic amount. Like if I go sell $100 on Coinbase right now, the effect on the price of Bitcoin is probably 1/1,000,000th of 1/1,000,000th of 1/1,000,000th of a penny. Obviously, you're not even going to notice. But every buy of sell of anything on any market causes the price to go up. Now, again, you may not see that reflected in the prices. If you go to a farmer's market, you may not see the prices constantly changing all day long. And that's just because they don't want to bother adjusting prices to supply and demand. But if you're on a large market with a lot of what's called liquidity means with a lot of buying and selling, then you're going to see that. You're going to see the price of a barrel of oil is constantly changing. Maybe it's just by pennies, but the price of a barrel of oil when the markets are open is in constant flux. The price of gasoline, again, in major markets, not at the gas pump because they only update the price every few days or every, a couple times a day. But if you are actually trading gas or buying and selling it in large volumes before it goes to the gas pump, you're seeing the price in a constant state of flux. Okay, so let's go back to our elevator analogy. Okay, so you got an elevator and each floor represents $1,000. So like right now we're at $118,000 going. So the elevator is near floor 118. It's actually kind of between floor 117 and 118. So all the people who want to get on the elevator are up there on floor 18 mashing the button to try to get it to come up to 18 to get them on. Because again, remember, if you mash the button that you want to get on the elevator, you have to be on the floor above where the elevator is, unless the elevator door is open. If the elevator door is open, you can get on and off at that floor. But if it's between floors, you only can get on by mashing the button to get on the floor above. But remember, if you're between floors and you want to get off the elevator and you mash the button from inside the elevator, it's always going to go down to the next floor to let you off. All right, so where does the elevator go? The elevator represents the price of Bitcoin at any instant in time. And the answer is the elevator is in a constant state of motion. Sometimes it'll hold in one spot for right at $18,000, it'll hold because there's enough people that are buying or selling at exactly $18,000 to hold the price steady for a few seconds or even 30 seconds sometimes, right at a major point. That's like when the elevator door is open at floor 118. And it just so happens right at a floor at 118, a bunch of people are mashing the button on both sides of floor 118 saying, I want to get on, I want to get off. So the elevator door is open and people are streaming on and off the elevator real time at 118. But guess what? Very quickly, typically within a matter of a few seconds, the number of people who want to get on and the number of people who want to get off are no longer in balance, which means there's more people mashing that they want to get on as compared to mashing that they want to get off. And as soon as you have that imbalance, the elevator has to either, because again, at that point, as soon as there's an imbalance, the door closes, which means if people are still mashing the button, they got to mash up from floor 19 to try to get the elevator to come up and pick them up. Or they got, if they're in the elevator, they've got a mash that they want to go down to floor 17. So the question is, where's the elevator going to go? You got the people on the elevator. Some of them are mashing that they want to get off at floor 117. But you've got people up at 118 who missed the elevator door open when it was temporarily at 118. And now they're up at 119, mashing the button, mashing the button, mashing the button, saying, I want to get on, I want to get on, I want to get on. And remember, the elevator has to go up if you want to go on, get on, but it has to go down if you want to get off. So where's the elevator going to go? What's going to happen? Well, the answer is, what's going to happen, give me 1 second here to pick a parking spot. What's going to happen in that situation is it depends on who's mashing the button more. If the people inside the elevator, which is the sellers, the people who want to sell Bitcoin, if the people inside the elevator are mashing the button more to try to sell, then the elevator will go down to floor 117 to let them off. If more people are up at a floor 119 mashing the button, wanting the elevator to come up and pick them up, then, we're going up to 119. Now, typically, we're always between a $1,000 threshold. And typically people sell, the only time the price stabilizes is typically at major milestones because enough people were buying and selling at exactly that price. So typically you will not see the price stay for like 30 seconds at a price like 118,436 and 32 cents. Like you're normally not going to see it stop at some arbitrary number and just like hold there. Because again, that's sort of between floors. And elevators just don't stop between floors. Like they're either, sort of slowly going up, slowly going down, and you can get on and off. But again, you're always pushing it one way or the other. So obviously, tons of people are buying and selling Bitcoin between 117 and 119. And every time they do that, the people who push the button to get off the elevator are pushing the elevator down. Every time somebody wants to get on, they're sort of pulling the elevator up. And so supply and demand is a constant pushing and pulling battle where, the people on the elevator are pushing the button to get off, which pushes the elevator down, and the people who want to get on are pushing the button from the floor above where the elevator is, trying to get, to get them to let them on the elevator. And as a result, it's just in a constant state of flux. So obviously the actual market doesn't have like hard thresholds like that, 117, 118, 119. It might pause there for a few seconds while it just clears out whoever's buying and selling at that point. But generally, all day long, the elevator is between floors. And the people who are pushing sell from the inside are pushing the elevator down by a microscopic fraction of a millimeter. And the people who are outside the elevator pushing a button are pushing it from the floor above, saying, hey, I'll get on, but I'm willing to pay a little bit more than the sellers. And that's what happens all day long with every market. Again, it doesn't matter if it's wheat, corn, soybeans. It doesn't matter if it's gold, silver, a barrel of oil, diamonds. Everything trades that way in a constant push and pull of supply and demand. And that constant push and pull, you end up with the sellers are, the sellers have a hand, so the price is going down. Then the buyers have, they have the upper hand, so the price is going up. And then buying and selling and buying and selling. It's called bulls and bears. The people who are buying are called bulls because bulls attack by, tossing their horns up. And the people who are bearish, bears attack by slashing down with their claws, so they're called bears. So the people who are selling anything are typically bears. People who are buying something are called bulls. That's also used to refer to people who are just bullish on something, means optimistic about the long-term future of an asset. And the bears are people who are pessimistic of the long-term future of an asset. So the bulls want the price to go up. The bears want it to go down. The bulls are usually buying. The bears are usually selling. And it's that tension. It's that tension that people are just not used to seeing because usually Bitcoin is the very first thing they've ever owned or bought where they can see that happen in real time. People are just not used to that. They're not seeing that real time because nothing else they buy, gas at the gas station, eggs at the grocery store, everything else they buy, the price is only getting updated a few times a day or a few times a week, or for some things, a few times a month or a year. But behind the scenes on the markets where those things trade, before they get to the store or the consumer or the car lot or whatever it is, on those markets behind the things, the price is in a constant, ever present state of a little bit up, a little bit down, a little bit up, a little bit down, up, down, 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 up, all that. So if the price is tipping down with Bitcoin, it means that very temporarily, the people inside the elevator mashing the button to get off are outweighing the number of people outside the elevator mashing the button to get on. So if, more people want to sell Bitcoin if the price is trending down, more people are wanting to buy, the balance between buyers and sellers. If it's tipped in favor of more buyers than sellers, the price goes up. If it's tipped in favor of more sellers than buyers, the price is going down. If that imbalance happens quickly, where there ends up being a lot more buyers than sellers, then you get this rip where the price goes from 108 to 118 very quickly. The reverse can happen. We saw this most recently when the United States bombed the nuclear facilities in Iran, where the price of Bitcoin dipped from like 108,000 to like 99,000 very quickly in a series of hours or whatever it was. Same thing. A bunch of people panicked. The people inside the elevator all panicked at the same time. They're all mashing the button, let me out of the elevator at any price, get me out, get me out. So, people start bailing from the elevator. They're bailing at, 107, 106, 105. The elevator keeps dropping, and they're just mashing that button. Get me out at any price, get me out at any price, get me out at any price, until it gets down to about 99,000, at which point the people outside the elevator are like, $99,000 Bitcoin, are you idiots? Yeah, you want to get off the elevator and give me your spot at 99,000? I will take it. And so, as the price dropped from 108 or 105, I think it was like 105, as it dropped from 105 to 99, as it dropped, more and more people got off the elevator. And so there were fewer people that wanted to get off the elevator because more of them had gotten off the elevator as it dropped. But as the price dropped, the more people on the outside mashing the button, 104 people on the outside are like, ooh, a discount. They start mashing the button. 103, more people mash the button on the outside saying, I want on this elevator at 103. And then 101, 99. Suddenly at 99, there's a cacophony of people mashing the button outside the elevator saying, please, 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 give me Bitcoin below $100,000. Get these idiots off the elevator that don't know what they hold. They don't know why they're selling. Let's get those people off the elevator. I'll take their spot for 99,000. and so they, the elevator stops and everybody swaps, and, they're constantly buying and selling all the way up and down. But eventually at, 98,762 or whatever it was, the number of people outside the elevator mashing that they wanted to get on outnumbered the people inside the elevator mashing the button because they're scared of the Iran attack and a World War III and a, worldwide recession, all this sort of stuff. And it's, again, that's what a market is. It's people inside the elevator wanting to get off, pushing the price down, and people outside the elevator wanting to get on, pushing the price up. And obviously, the place the analogy breaks down is you can buy and sell at any price. So it's not like you have to be, elevators you can only get on and off at a floor. In the case of anything else, you can get off at the penny. So there's like 100 increments between floors and 1,000 increments between that, because obviously it's not like you can only get off 118,000 or 117,000. You can get off at every dollar increment between that, and you can get off at every penny increment between every dollar increment. You can literally buy and sell at any price for Bitcoin, rounded to the nearest penny. And so that's the way it trades, and it trades that way in other currencies as well. It trades that way in all currencies around the world. So you can get off at tiny fractions of a Japanese yen or a Chinese yuan or a euro or whatever it is. So it's helpful for people sometimes to think about the whole thing as an elevator with people inside mashing, I want to go down and get off, and people outside mashing, please come up and pick me up. And the price is it's just the balance of the people mashing on both sides, the sellers and the buyers, the I want to get offs and the please let me ons. Whoever outweighs the other at that exact moment in time is going to either pull that elevator up by a penny or $2 or $5 or $10 or $1,000, or the people inside mashing I want to get off are going to push it down a penny or $1 or $1,000, or Iran nuclear strike $6,000. It's just It's just happening real time all the time. And if you want to see it happen even faster than you see it, normally in the standard interface of Coinbase and the standard interface of River, it updates every few seconds, or if you swipe down, it'll update real time. The easiest way to see it update real time is to flip Coinbase to the advanced mode. If you flip Coinbase to the advanced mode, you can actually scroll down and watch the trading volume. And you can see it's just, just an avalanche of buying and selling constantly. And then right above that, you see the price, and the price is just updating, especially if you do it on a laptop. If you do it on a mobile device, it updates like every second or two, it's like every, a few times a second. If you look at it on a desktop computer, it updates like super real time. The price is just like, and again, it may only be changing by a penny or 2 or 5 or 10, but if you look at Coinbase Advanced on a desktop computer, it's like, it's just the level of buying and selling is just absolutely insane. So hopefully that helps you understand why the price is in a constant state of flux, and hopefully it helps you to understand that everything you buy somewhere has a price that's in a constant state of flux. You just don't see that because they even it out, smooth it out, and only change the price infrequently where you actually buy stuff in the grocery store, at the gas pump, on the car lot, whatever it is you're buying. They try to hold the prices much more steady for longer so it doesn't freak people out with all that changing. But behind the scenes, every market is buyers and sellers, supply and demand, and the price is in a constant state of flux. Bitcoin is no different. That's just the way it is. Have a great day, everyone.